I'm just trying to get it centered here a little bit, and even though it's uneven, that's gonna have to do, and what, sometimes, if I get it to stay still, I'll just use this piece of clay here to put it down with. The relationship between the width of the foot and the width of the pot is something that can be talked about. And I like a foot that will make the pot look like it's sort of floating in the air, if you can. It's just a thing with me, and not everybody does that. A lot of people, if you want to have a bowl that's going to be gotten into a lot, like mashed potatoes or whatever, you might want to have the foot be a little wider so that it doesn't tip so much. But I think that it doesn't hurt to have a foot that is makes the pot look terribly elegant. And these I don't have anyway. These are trimming tools I like to use, and this is a Kemper with a straight top, and this is the Dolan that comes back down again. And you can pay twice as much for this as you do this, and I like this better. And they wear both about the same. I wear these out a lot because some of the clay has particles in it that wear these down. And this is a beefier piece of metal in there, and it's all hardenable steel, and it does pretty well. It lasts fairly well. You can buy the ones from Bison Tools or something in Las Vegas. This is made out of silicon carbide, and how they do that I'm not sure, but the trouble is you pay 50 or 60 bucks for a single tool, and it's wonderful and it stays sharp and what have you, but if you drop it, it breaks. Mm-hmm. And so I've got one left that I use, but it's solid and a solid piece of metal, and you'd use it for trimming big stuff. And it's wonderful, but I'm afraid maybe I'm going to drop that. So I'm going to go with a foot. I always try to establish the width of the foot. First thing I do, and then go from there and trim down. And trying to trim through this, or trying to trim it without trimming through is anybody's guess. You kind of have to try to remember what the inside looks like and not get too close to it. This is really a little bit softer than I usually trim things, but I don't like to have the foot say this is a foot. I like it to be just have it flow from here down around a nice curve and into the form so that it just flows out and there's no mark to say this is a foot. And that's just an aesthetic that I like. It doesn't mean that I think every pot should be that way at all. Some pots that have a distinct separate foot are very lovely. And one thing that's a good idea is to try to have the foot be nice and flat. It is parallel to the surface of the foot being parallel to the surface here, so when you sit it down, it sits level. Sometimes if you wire it off, the wire will wobble around and you get a strange looking foot. But this was, how thick it was, about over a quarter, I think. So I can put a good 1/8 inch in here and it'll be fine.
How thick would you have said your walls were to start with?
How
thick was the wall before you turned it over, do you think? 1/4 inch or less, or?
Well, yeah. 1/4 to 3/8, probably more like 3/8 down here. Then I try to trim that away. It's nice it's just an aesthetic, and I don't think it's important as far as the function is concerned. But it's nice if the walls are the same thickness everywhere, because the pot, just the scent of the pot seems better to me somehow. It's like any opinion, you're stuck with it. And, what I'm doing here is making sure that the pot will sit on the furthest part out to the edge of the foot, pretty much, so that it has the widest stance. Even though the foot is small, it has the widest stance. If the smaller this thing gets, the more rocky it'll be. And so